What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the training. What we're going to do is go ahead and get started right here. And what this session is going to be on is how to build your personal brand with video and attract versus chase leads, attract clients versus chase leads. And a lot of the stuff I'm going to explain today is going to sort of spell out, call it the who, what, when, where, and why of video. Video is not lead generation, it's branding, it's attraction. And to do it more long term or to do it over time, there's a couple things that we're going to have to do ahead of time. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get right on into this. If we have not met before, if you've not been on my podcast or anything, my name is Mike Cuevas. I'm the real estate marketing dude. Sold real estate since 2002 in Chicago. And today I live in San Diego. And what we do is we script, edit, and distribute videos for real estate agents, lenders, investors all over the country, from the East Coast to the West Coast, North and South. And I don't know about you, but I hate lead generation. I hate prospecting. I hated chasing leads as an agent. And the last 4 years, what I've been doing is sharing exactly what we've always did our whole career, through content creation and through personal branding. So what we want to do today is walk you through sort of how it all works. And where we're going to start with is that agents with a strong personal brand, they're not going to chase business. Business chases them. This entire business is built around your personal brand. Nobody's hiring your broker anymore. Last I checked. And the reason why this is so important is because only 4% of consumers pick their agent because of the brokerage or the brand they're affiliated with. Quite frankly, I don't think people really care who you work for, or who you work with, or where you hang your flag. At the end of the day, 96% of consumers chose the agent, not the broker they're affiliated with. But ultimately, people are people. They do business with agents they typically know, like, trust, and remember. But they don't remember what it is that you do for a living, and they remember how it is that you do it. And that's true for any industry, right? People don't follow your what, they follow your why is another way, I guess you could go out and say it. Now, when you're able to craft video with personal branding and you do it visually, that's when it works. That's when you start building a brand. So we're going to start off with a little exercise here. And what I want to showcase here is that video is going to be the most impactful form of communication. It's going to be the one that generates the most amount of attention for what I'm about to show you right now. So I want you to sort of look at what you see on the screen here, and boy, BOY. And I want you to sit for 2 seconds, jot down what imagery is sort of coming through your mind right now as you're thinking about this. Like, what images go through your mind? Close your eyes. You see blue boy. What images do you see? Okay. Go ahead and jot those down. Now, what do you think? Is this a little bit more impactful than that? Which one leaves a longer lasting impression? You see in this one, what kind of boy? But in this one, in this image, in the picture, it's a lot more impactful. Boy with bubbles on his head. He's got a couple teeth. He looks like he's taking a bath. There's a blue bottle behind him. He's in the bathroom. Someone's attending to him. This picture is just a lot more impactful than the first. Now, I'm going to go ahead and play a video. This is my son. And look, he's blinking. He's talking. He's asking a question, right? So the question here is, out of those three images, which one is the most impactful or the more memorable? And the answer is obviously going to be video. So the whole thing here is that the impact and understanding how to build a personal brand with video starts by understanding the impact of it and the impact of using imagery and story on things like social media. So I want to go through another example and show you how powerful this is. And let's get out of real estate. I have a friend of mine that in college, I haven't been in college since 2002. All right. So it's 20 years later. And my friend's name is Matt. And, when we were in college together, we used to hang out all the time, good friends, party together, just girls together, play sports, go work out together, you name it, on spring break, all this other stuff. But like most people, when you graduate college, people sort of move, right? People move on with their lives. People start careers. I live in San Diego, for a matter of fact. But with Matt here, you could see that over time, in 2013, I saw pictures of him. And the only reason why I see Matt post all the time, as a matter of fact, Matt posts always pictures of his kids. I see him growing up. And the fact that I keep seeing Matt on social media, even though we haven't spoke at all in a long time, I still feel like I have a relationship with him. See, if I were to walk past Matt today, I haven't seen him in maybe 10 years. I would still know exactly who he is. I would say, "What's up, dude? It's been so long. Blah, 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 blah. What's up, man? Blah, blah, blah." But let's just pretend the opposite happened and Matt was absent from social media. Let's say I didn't see anything. I didn't even hear from Matt. I even seen a picture of him, an image. I could equally walk past Matt in the grocery store and not even know who the hell he is. So I want you to think about that and think about how visual you are with your brand. How visual are you with branding and marketing and all of the above? And are you imagery present? Right? That's the impact. At the end of the day, real estate's a big popularity contest. See, the reason why I remembered Matt was because I stayed in touch mentally, and video is just the most impactful way to stay on top of mind. So what we use video marketing for is to nurture and build relationships with our sphere of influence and the local community, right? So what does it mean to have a brand? It's very simple. You have a brand, and how big your brand is determined by how many people instantly associate your name with real estate, right? If you see John Doe and everyone's like, "Oh, there's that one real estate agent guy that's always on video," that John Doe has a bigger brand than Jane Doe. When people say, "Who the hell's Jane Doe?" See, real estate, like I just said, is a popularity contest because the vast majority of people work with people they feel comfortable with. They personally know. See, people don't remember what you do for a living. They remember how you do it. It's very, very true. See, and ultimately, when you're going to want to get on video or build your brand with video, the way you build your brand in any business is consistent communication to the same audience over time. In the real estate industry, we call that farming. So why don't you start farming your relationships and do it with video content? Because consistent communication at the same time to an audience over time will build your brand. See, and the audience, people are like, "Who's my audience?" Well, it's not strangers. It's going to be the people you already know. This is not my stat right here. This is NAR. This is NAR's showcasing where business really comes from. And look at the top two, from all sellers. Everyone wants seller leads. Everyone's always asking me, "Hey, Mike, how do I get more seller leads?" Hey, I want to get more seller leads. Well, guess what? You start having more relationships with people who own houses. That's how you get more seller leads. Look at the numbers right there. 39% of people of listings were referred. 24% they used them in the past. So look at the buyer side. You're going to see it very similar. Obviously, if people who are buying a house use the agent previous 12%, but were referred over 41%. So what does that tell us? Well, it tells us where the vast majority of business comes from in our business. And that means that if I'm going to build a brand with video, I already know who to put it in front of. Because in either case, 74 to 80% of business is going to come from people used in the past or have personally met, not a bunch of strangers. In the vast majority of cases, it's not coming from Zillow or any of these lead sources. Where they're really coming from are the people we already know. And that's how video works. But what happens when you stop communicating with that very database? Well, they forget you exist and they go out and cheat on you with another real estate agent, and you log on to Facebook to find out that they just bought or sold a new house and they just forgot you were in real estate. But remember, it's not their job to remember to send you business, but it is your job to remind them to. And that's how you want to approach video, or at least the way I'm going to explain it in this presentation. See, the agent that's doing video consistently over and over again to that database, they're going to become a lot less forgettable than the one who isn't. And it's really that simple. See, video is not lead generation, but it's branding and attraction. And we're not fighting for leads, but I am fighting for the attention of my database and my local community. Top of mind brand awareness creates conversations, and conversations leads to referrals. And that's why we create content consistently. Ultimately, over 70% of people will close with the first agent they speak with. So the name of the game has always been, hey, why don't we become the first agent they speak with? Because nothing I'm sharing with you is going to be theory. This is mathematical. 10 to 15% of the population move each and every year, and 100% of the population knows someone moving that they can refer you to. So I want you to really think about that. That means that your entire Facebook friend list has a referral for you, and 10 to 15% of them will be moving this year, and most won't even know it yet. Some might get sick, some might get relocated, some might get divorced, and some might have a kid and get married. But life events are typically when people move, and it's nothing that's planned. However, it is statistical. And if we already know where business comes from, half of the job right here, half of the strategy is already solved for me. It's very simple. Keep my videos in front of the people I know. If people move every 6 to 9 years or 5 to 7, whatever you want to do the math, how many people in your network are moving? This means if you have 1,000 friends on your Facebook feed, well, how many of them are moving? 10 to 15% of them, 10 to 15, 100, 150. It's a pretty good year, I would say. But 100% of the people in business, the people that we know, your Facebook friends, your email list, your IG followers, whoever it may be, the people you're connected with, 100% of them have a referral for you. And we're not looking for a super duper large audience. We just want an engaged one and a targeted one of people that we already know. It's the biggest mistake I see is that we think we need to go out and reach the masses. No, we need to reach the people that already know, like, trust, and love us, and then become more marketable and referable. Don't get me wrong. You could go out and reach the masses if you want, but what I'm talking about here is building a brand, and you can't build a brand with complete strangers. You do it with the people that already know of your brand by consistently remaining in conversation with them. Ultimately, you'll have a conversation, which is what this is really all about. See, realistically, your database wants to refer you business, and the people, you don't get referrals from strangers. That's why I keep my content in front of the people I already know. See, people will refer you business if they like or they're satisfied with your past service, and they like the person that's hinting about getting the referral, because ultimately the way God made us, the way our brains work, is that people like to be able to solve a problem. And I want you to think about the last time you referred anyone anything. Why did you do it? It's because you were wired to seek the approval of others. We're constantly looking to be acknowledged. If you don't believe me, I want you to think about the last time you went out to dinner with family, with friends. And, I don't know about you, but when I go out to dinner, we talk about other places to go out to dinner, and people are always exchanging referrals during that time. And the reason is because we want to share an enjoyable experience with others. We don't refer people things we don't like or don't know ourselves. So if you really look at the business has always been in front of us, but it's your job to become more referable, because when people are going to refer you business, 3 things have to occur. 1, the referring party has to notice a conversation about real estate. They got to go, oh, that's my guy. I got a guy. They have to think of you, and then they have to like you enough to introduce your services into the conversation, because a referral opportunity or an instant repeat business opportunity, or whatever it is, when people decide to go out and hire an agent and take that next step, over 80% of them are going to close with the first one they meet. That's why this is so important. See, video builds an audience. A database, and people always confuse, oh, I have a database. Database is nothing more than a collection of contact information. But an audience is a collection of relationships that actually pay attention when you open your mouth. They pay attention to what you say. They engage with you on social. They're responding to your emails. That's what nurturing an audience with video does. So when we really lay this all up, we have to go through that first part first, because unless you know who to put your videos in front of and why they should be authentic, why they should be natural, you're going to be stuck. Where do I start? Because the number one thing people have next is, what am I going to talk about? See, creating content's not necessarily about, selling your stuff. As a matter of fact, you don't ever have to talk about real estate as far as I'm concerned. I'm sure some of your videos will, but they just need to remind people that you're in real estate. Nobody wakes up in the morning and wants to go out and cold call all their friends and say, hey, do you have a referral for me again? Like, let's be honest. How many of you really want to call 100 people a month and just be like, oh yeah, by the way, do you know anyone looking to buy or sell? To me, that feels so unauthentic. And most of us will never do that. But if your videos are automatically doing it and nurturing it all the time, you don't have to. Okay. I'm not saying don't ask for referrals, but I am saying become more referable. So your videos don't have to be in real estate. They remind people you're in real estate. And the key is to find something you're passionate about. Because if you start creating videos on stuff you're not comfortable with, like if I were to start creating a bunch of food videos and cooking videos for you right now, you'd probably be like, this guy is nuts. He's not like, he looks so awkward. Well, yeah, I wouldn't have any authenticity because you're forcing me to create content on stuff I don't like. And the only goal here is to connect and humanize your brand. See, when you define like a theme, and I want to give you a couple of examples in a second, you'll have something that you're excited about. All of the above occurs naturally. Authenticity, connection, your passion. It's impossible to do a video on something that you're not passionate about. And ultimately, when you do something you're excited about and you really dial in your video strategy, your communication is going to be more impactful. Because ultimately 60, 90% of communication is going to be based off the tone or the body language that you're using in the video. People are only going to retain 10% of what comes out of your mouth, including this webinar right now and this training. You guys are probably you could watch this again, but most people only retain 10 to 15% of stuff that they actually hear. What you're going to remember is my tonality on the way I'm doing things and my body language I'm using. It's the only reason why I'm on video here, because I don't feel like I can communicate my message across appropriately without you seeing my body language and seeing my passion behind this. Right? So how can you communicate effectively if you're not excited about your strategy? It's not what you say, it's how you say it. That's the most important aspect of this. So I want to give you a couple examples of a couple lenders and agents even that we came up with a video strategy for them and show you sort of how it works, right? So in this case, Beard Budget. I went on, he's a mortgage broker in Fort Collins, and I went on his Instagram handle and I see, hey, he calls himself your bearded lender. He gets on our deep dive call. I see him with a big beard and, you know, he's a total bro, right? He's like a dude. He's like me. I'm like, done. You deal with first-time buyers. The cost of living is your job. So you might as well call it Beard Budget. Why not? Now, he could create content. It doesn't matter. Everything he does is on a budget. If he wants to do a business owner interview, he's doing businesses that offer great value, and he's doing it on a budget. He could do a brewery tour on a budget. He could do a neighborhood tour and talk about what you get for the money, especially when you're on a budget. He'll never run out of things to say strictly because people are not going to remember what he's talking about. They're going to remember the Beard Budget, right? Number two right here, you see serving, excuse me, you see serving SoCal. This is a military brand, former veteran. And all he focuses on, most of his business comes from the military. So it makes a lot of sense for him to go out there and have a show called Serving SoCal, right? Well, what kind of content would Serving SoCal create? Well, he's not going to do any type of neighborhood tour. He's going to do neighborhoods near base. He's not going to create content on any type of business interview. He'll do business interviews that are veteran owned. He has a buyer boot camp, a seller boot camp. If you don't want to listen to him drop, give me 20, sir. See what I mean is that when you identify the true brand and you know what you really stand for and whom you serve and sort of how you roll, well, the content creation should be natural. Touring 4 is for a team in Orlando, Florida. His name's Jordan, and Jordan's team brand name is called the Rockstar Home Team. So because the Rockstar Home Team is a rock star, like Jordan's a rock star. That's just what he is. He's a music guy, you know. He's got tats. He's cool. It makes, what do rock stars do? Well, they go on tour. That means everything he's going to do is touring 4. 4 is the I corridor, or is the corridor, the highway that runs right through there. And touring 4 is what rock stars do. So he could take us on neighborhood tours, bar tours, venue tours. It doesn't matter. What do we really sell? We don't sell houses. We sell the communities they reside in. Therefore, any bit of community-based like content is going to remind people we're in real estate generally. The one you see in the bottom right there is called Why Not? This is a mortgage broker. He moved to Cheyenne, Wyoming. And then you could see why not? Looks very similar to the flag, took some of the branding. We gave the guy a little bit of a beer belly, put him on a house instead of a horse. But what it's all about is why not live in Cheyenne, Wyoming? He talks about living in Cheyenne, Wyoming. He's following a YouTube strategy. See, when you create a show, the reason why we do this is because it's much like if you were to have a podcast, what would you call it? Nobody has a podcast without first naming their podcast. And even in the name of their podcast, it's going to be, it's going to sort of symbolize sort of what yours is, right? What is your show? You get idea of the content. So for example, concept I like to use a lot is there's a guy called Guy Ferrari. If you ever watched the Food Network, and there's a show he has called Diners, Dives, and Drives. Now that's a food show, but Guy Ferrari is a total dude. He's wearing flannels. He's got like ripped jeans, and he's basically covering content on grease pits of America. And he finds all these dives, and they have really good greasy food, and it's like hangover food for dudes. But he's not, even though it's a food show, he's not sitting there creating content on French bistros or 5-star Michelin restaurants. He's creating content because it's themed out. So we approach this much like you would if you start a podcast. The only problem with starting a podcast is that it's audio only, and it's not going to be as effective, in my opinion, as a video series with your face, because your face is the brand. So finding your strategy, and what we'll be focusing on in the next webinars, the different styles of videos, and we'll show you guys a couple here as well, so that you can sort of piece it together. But when you really dial in your theme, and when we build a show, you're forced to tell a story. Welcome to another episode of North County Vibes. Today, I'm going to show you what the vibes are going to be like right here in Encinitas, California. If you ever thought about living in Encinitas, California, well, you're probably wondering what the lifestyle is like. And today, I'm going to give you a preview. So without further ado, let's get in there and go ahead and get started. See, that's a show I have here in San Diego, and I have to use, when you script through a show, you're forced to tell that story. And that's why I like it. It also identifies your theme. But let's really look at the big picture here. When you're building a brand, and when you're acquiring business, there's really a couple different, there's two ways you're going to generate business, right? Now, statistically, everything says that the vast majority of our businesses come from the people we already know. So if you look at the right side here, this is marketing. If you look at the left-hand side, this is advertising. Facebook ads, the FSBOs, the prospecting, the internet leads, you name it, right? I'm not saying stop doing lead generation, because this is lead generation and prospecting. This is attraction and or marketing. Okay. But what I am saying is that everyone should have a little bit of both. See, people that are here, what do you do with them? See, I like to direct mail my database, because if I send them one postcard a month, 100% of the people are getting that postcard, unless I have the wrong address. And if they physically have to engage with me and throw me in the trash, great. They still mentally and physically engage on my existence. It's very powerful for branding, but direct mail is just one piece. Video email is where we would send our videos, and I'll show you our distribution process on the next webinar, and the next training as well. But if I'm doing 2 videos a month, I'm going to nurture those 2 videos a month. And then social, I'm going to go ahead and post all my personal profiles, all of my videos. Then I'm going to run ads to my database, for I get more people to see them. Now, my database full of past clients, family, friends, aunts, uncles, basically anyone I invite to my wedding or funeral. But if you look over here, here's what really happens in practice. 10 to 15% of the people that get my direct mail, they're moving, and 100% of them do. If I'm direct mailing 100 people that I know that I'd invite to my wedding or funeral, am I going to generate more referrals and more repeat business? Yes. If I'm taking an email list of 150 to 250 people, 300 people, whatever the size of your email list is, and I'm sending them 2 videos a month, and I'm doing that for 12 months in a row, do I become more referable? Because we're not talking about sending turn back the clock emails or market update reports. What we're talking about is nurturing and offering value through content creation and showing people stuff they actually like, which can only be done when you're excited about what you're doing. Hence the point of dialing in your brand. And then on social, same thing. Most people are friends with anywhere between 700 to 5,000 people, like on Facebook, for example. And when you're posting 2 videos a month and then you're running ads the same videos, you just get a whole lot of eyeballs. But here's what really happens is that eventually someone either is referred to you or they raise their hand, and then you come on in here and you take them through your process, because you're either going to find a lead that you're going to start working with, or it's going to be a referral or repeat client. And once you do work with them, you're going to take them out and show them houses if it's a buyer, or listed if it's a seller. You're going to take them through your process as a client. And then once you're done with them, you're going to deposit them right back in here to keep nurturing them for future business. And that's why we're talking about marketing and attraction is nothing more than just remaining in a consistent communication. Same with leads too. They're still going to come through here, but you don't dump them off. See, in real estate, I don't spike the football when the house is sold. I spike a football when you get the third referral from a client or the third house from a client, because that's when you're truly playing the long game and running a business. So the next question we get quite a bit is, well, Mike, how many videos do I actually need? How many videos do I need to shoot? Well, for most people, believe it or not, and we'll talk more about this on the next, but let's just take this example right here. And let's just say I'm doing 2 videos a month. If I'm taking those 2 videos a month and I'm doing, put them on all my social profiles, video emailing out to my database, running ads to them, putting them on my website, and then also put them on my YouTube channel, I'm going to have a little bump for about a week, take a break, and then boom, I'm back with another episode. See, when you're creating content and you're building a campaign, people always ask me, hey, Mike, is it more content? I need more videos. I want to do 8 a month. It's not more content. It's more impact with the content you're creating, because realistically, throughout the course of the month, there's other things that you're doing that sort of fill in the gaps. So most people only need 2 videos, but your strategy might change. Maybe you want to blow up your YouTube channel in your competitive market. Well, you probably need to publish more frequently. But again, we'll cover that on the next training. So I wanted to give you a couple ideas of different types of content that you could create. And you're not going to hear the sound on this video, but I'll play it through as we go through. So this is a mortgage broker that does case studies with his clients. He can have real estate agents, clients that refer him on over, or his own clients. It doesn't matter. It's not just listed, just sold, or in his case, just funded. It's this client just bought their first house. And guess what? He did it, saved $1,500 a month, and he's owning, not renting anymore. Right. So instead of creating content that says just listed, just sold, and we're bragging about how much money we made, we're doing the opposite. We're creating content that showcases and demonstrates our professionalism, expertise, whatever it may be, that just like HGTV. Another video. This is a team. So this team has a lot of fun. They have a series called Play Out Denver, and they're all parents. So it's a very like parent friendly brand. And what they do is they just go out and do these tour videos, and they have a lot of fun together, and all of them share the videos together. See, so in this one, I believe this one was, they're doing some kind of park tour, or they're doing the train system, and they're showcasing that and how that works in the Denver market. But the same thing is, it's just consistent communication over time. They're humanizing their brands, and they're showcasing themselves on it and showing us content. That's what a real estate agent is. We're like big tour guides. Neighborhood tour, same concept. Neighborhood tour. This team, the Dream Homes. So Dream Homes, Dream Hoods could be the name of the series. So same concept. What are you gonna do on a neighborhood tour? Hey, have you ever wondered what it's like to go out and live in Mission Valley, San Diego? Well, what we're gonna do on this week's video is show you exactly that. Let's go. So same thing. Neighborhood tours. Every single one of these videos remind people you're in real estate. Community informational videos. If you're looking for a YouTube type strategy where people are generating clients off YouTube, I'm going to create content that's like pros and cons of living in blank city name, cost of living in city name, moving to city name, neighborhood tours. That's the type of stuff that works on YouTube. But there's a very specific strategy for it, very specific scripts and content to create. Same concept here. We call these community informationals or YouTube series. Again, we'll show you a little bit more of these on the next training. Real estate content. So real estate content's good. Everyone should have it. You know, it's the stuff that you use over and over again with different clients. It's the stuff that shows you have the expertise and or authority but it's also the stuff that gets the least amount of comments on social media and the least amount of responses because you're talking about work, right? There's a purpose for these videos, but what I want you to see here is that not every video, there is not a universal strategy. The way that these videos work is that you create content over time, and the type of content will determine on how much will determine the strategy, and you back into it. But it all starts by figuring out which is the right strategy for you. How does that work? And then executing on it and just doing that consistently over time, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. So I really hope that this sort of help walk you through how to really dial in that video strategy, especially if you're looking to, run like a local celebrity type agent strategy. You probably heard that terminology. But what we're going to be chatting about on the next webinar is we're going to be showing you, okay, so once I dial in that strategy, how am I going to define what videos are right for me? What are the pros and cons of different types of videos to do? And then we're also going to break on the pros and cons, all the different types of videos you can be doing in a lot more depth, and then how you distribute and multi-purpose each of those videos for maximum eyeballs and or maximum exposure. So thanks for watching this training. Continue on with the series that we have here for you guys. And if you have any questions ever, our contact information is right on the screen in front of you. But I hope you got a lot of value out of this. Wait till you see next one, and we'll see you on the next training.